Ken Epstein, and I run Nix Comics, Nix.
How did you hear about this event?
I'm actually running this event, so I was the one who told everybody else.
How long have you been doing this?
Making comics for 5 years now. I started, I guess this is my 5th anniversary. That's pretty fun.
That's awesome. Are you an artist and a writer, or just a writer?
I'm primarily a writer. I do some artwork on my own, but it's more pin-ups and posters and that kind of thing.
That's cool. How did you get started in the field of art?
You know, I was something that I started with as a kid and kind of let go for many years. I didn't trust my artwork when I became a teenager and a young adult, and I kind of got away from it. Then I got back into it recently because it occurred to me it doesn't, the only thing that was holding me back was me, so I just started writing stories and making art again, and it's been great.
That's cool. Have you had formal schooling?
For artwork?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I have. I have a 2-year degree which involved a lot of art courses.
Where from?
Simon's Rock College in Massachusetts.
What's your style as an artist?
Well, I do a lot of stuff that's inspired by, I'm a big record collector and I used to own a record store, so a lot of my stuff is inspired by music. I did this one comic that is a true story about when my friend Bela met the Ramones. The first issue of my Western comic actually came with a record where the illustrator's a musician, so we did some kind of spooky Ennio Morricone style Western soundtrack music for the comic. And it's kind of a recurring theme in everything I do.
That's very cool. Do you have certain audiences for your work? Like teens, children, or adults?
Well, more like since I was a record store guy, I knew I could sell comics in a record store. So this is it's aimed towards like the people who collect records, the people who listen to punk rock music, the people who are soundtrack fiends and that kind of thing. So yeah, I have an audience, but I wouldn't say it's age specific. It's more genre specific.
Yeah. How do you market your products?
Mostly online, through Kickstarters and a Facebook page, and then word of mouth. And you go to shows like this one to meet as many people as you can. There's no one way to do it, and you have to kind of explore all the different ways that are possible and see what works for some people doesn't work for other people.
Yeah. How do you publish your work?
I publish it myself, actually. This is when I closed up my record shop that I talked about, I took all the money from selling off the records to pay a printer and pay the artists who were doing the stories that I wrote. And I just kind of started putting them out myself.
What advice would you give to somebody who has an interest in this field of art?
Just keep working and keep making stuff, and make complete stuff. Learn how to make a complete comic page and then a complete comic book, and keep at it. Don't have downtime if you can avoid it. Life happens, but if you have spare time and you're watching TV, maybe you should be making a comic.
Yeah. What makes this event different from the other events you've attended?
Well, this is different because it's a makeup event, kind of. S.P.A.C.E is a much bigger show, and it's an annual show, and it's been going on for 16 years. This year, it had to relocate and reschedule suddenly because the hotel that was hosting it closed. And I knew that I had some of the stuff that I wanted to get out on this date specifically. I knew there would be people who had plane tickets that they couldn't cash back in and stuff like that. So I wanted to make sure that there were a lot of people within my community, my artistic community, who had something to do this weekend, even though the main show moved. So, this is kind of a unique one-off thing. I don't think it'll happen again.
How much importance do you place on networking, and what kind of networking do you do?
That's a good one. That's a really good question. Networking is really important, and there are multiple kinds of networking. There's what most people consider networking is kind of the conventional. You go to an event like this and you meet your fellow artists and you meet customers, and it is networking, and it's important, to get out and do that. There's also learning what your resources are in town. If you live in Columbus, it's going to the Billy Island Cartoon Library and meeting those people. It's talking to as many different printers in town so you can get the best deal on your printing and pass that deal on to your peers. And then the printer is happy because you're giving them business, and you're happy because you have competitive printers. That kind of thing. There's a lot of different levels of networking, and people should investigate all of them.
That's it. Thank you very much.
That's it. Thank you.